All right, guys. What's going on? Hold on, let me put my thing up here. All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome to the Rouser World live stream. Just want to make sure, guys, that my volume and everything was up like it's supposed to be. Let me see here. So everything should be good. Okay, yeah, everything looks good. Okay. I can see I can hear myself, so that's good. All right, let me go ahead and get started on Instagram as well. So hold on, let me just go ahead and all right, 2 1. All right, so now we are live on Instagram. So guys, as a welcome to the live stream as well for you too. You guys that are on Instagram following me this morning. So welcome to the live stream. My name is Harry or Mr. Rouser, whichever way you like to refer to me as. And I am going to be your caricature tour guide for today. So I'm going to be taking you through some caricatures. I'm also going to be drawing some random things because sometimes I believe that drawing random things will help you to break the monotony of drawing caricature all the time, and it will even serve to for to better your caricatures in the long run because you can learn to see objects and shapes and things of that nature, right? Okay, so I just got a drawing up here that I've already done. Uh, Yesterday, I was actually working with a student of mine, and this is actually my student's son. We might even just start with that picture today, just in case. My student Hendrik, how are you today? Welcome. If you're watching today, I just wanted to give you a quick shout out and tell you thank you so much for taking classes with us today. All right, so let me see here. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to need to get some. I got plenty of paper over here, so let me go ahead and set my sunglasses over here, right? And markers over here. It's going to be for our word of the day later on. Okay, and let's see here. Let's get out some paper that we can get started. Also, guys, while we're getting ready, if you are wanting to take classes with me, I do offer online classes to teach you how to draw a caricature. If you are interested in something like that, you can always go to rouserworld.com/classes, which I've already pinned that information to the top of the screen for you. If you guys are on Instagram, I already have all that information in the descriptions of all of my videos, so you guys can check out that information. It's very easy to access if you want to find it. Just look up rouserworld.com. You're already on Rouserworld, so just put the .com behind that. Okay. Let me see here. Other than that, if you want to tip while you're learning today, man, thank you so much. I do appreciate tips. Obviously, that does help to keep this stream going for you guys that have been with me for a while. You know that producing and doing streaming does take a lot of time, energy, a lot of patience, a lot of pre-planning what I'm going to do. And at the end of the day, the information isn't costing you anything. So, right. So, thank you very much. Hey, Cherish, how are you today? That's unexpected. I didn't think you was going to be here this morning, but hey, great to have you on board. All right. So, I guess let's go ahead and get started. I guess I'll start with, let me see, what do I want to warm up with today? I don't want to go with this. I want to go with something. Let's go to my gallery here. And I have some things I downloaded just that I like to practice on. Let's go down here. Okay. And what we're going to do, just to warm up our caricature hand, is we will try some, let's see. Where am I? I'm trying to find this specific picture. Okay. I always hate warming up with hands, man, but I guess we can. Ugh. These are not the things to warm up with. So I guess we'll just try a simple hand position here, maybe this one right here, and we'll just kind of draw them kind of little. The best way to do these is to do this here. Let me go to my sketchbook. This is a really cool drawing program right here. All right, and let me go to a new sketch here. Okay, and we're going to create, and we will save that sketch. And then let's go back in and hold up. Let's go to a new sketch, create, save current sketch. Okay, now let's go and get my picture that I was looking at over there. So this is how I learn. I like to use drawing programs to trace out shapes. And then I understand what shape I can exaggerate when I'm doing this way, okay? So where was I? Where was it? Where were we at? We were at hand, so we were right here. I'm gonna make that real big here so we could see it, right? Boom. All right, and then we're gonna put a layer on top of that. We're gonna get my trusty little stylus pen here, right? And we are going to go at it. So let's go ahead and we got a nice bright color there. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna make some shapes out of this. So let's see what kind of shapes we can make here that might fit in here. So we got this shape here. Okay, we got this shape. Let's change it up and make it a red. All right, and let's back up one and we'll make this shape into a little square here, and then we have this shape that looks like some little buildings. Okay, and then we have this shape. We'll change it to another color so we can keep our shapes all separated. It kind of comes off, it goes up and then down and then like this. And I like to make my shapes geometric at first. This way I can understand what it is exactly I'm drawing. Okay, then we have this shape here. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now once we finish that, what we'll do is we'll take this shape out. Boop. Oh wait, we'll take this out. And now what we're left with is actually what the raw shape is right here. Hey, right on. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you, Cherish. All right, so what we'll do here is for our sketch, right? We'll just come up here to the top of our paper. We'll take our pencil and we'll begin to create the shapes that we see. Okay? So you see how easy it makes it when you think of the picture like this. And so if you don't know how to draw something, you have to commit it kind of to memory of the shapes you're drawing, right? Up here, we got this shape here. All right, coming across. And then we have this shape kind of coming back in like that. Okay. So you see, it made it real easy to be able to draw that hand. And now, if we go back and we bring our picture back and we take this out, well, now we can kind of see what we want to do here. So let's see here. We want to do something like this here. Okay. Okay. And we can see we got a pretty good little sketch there. So we drew that hand. Like we wanted. All right. So see that right there? We got a pretty good idea of it right there. Okay. All right, so let me see here. We did that one right there. Let's go to another positioning. So I'll tell you what, we'll practice it again one more time. So let's take that out. Let's look at our picture again. Okay, so this is the shape that we're drawing. So if we ever need to draw this for a caricature, we know exactly what we're doing. Uh-oh, I just made it a little bit short. All right. Okay, and then we got this shape up here again. And then we got this shape here. And we got our thumbnail here. All right. Then we'll come back. Check this out again. Okay, come across the top. And remember, it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect because this is caricature hand. You know what I mean? So you don't have to get to all the details. Just as long as it looks pretty decent like that, it's pretty good, right? Okay. All right. Let's try another hand positioning here. So we learned that one. We'll just keep that one dedicated to memory again. Let me let you look at it again so that you can remember. I wonder if I could do this now. What if I just did it like this? Let me see. Mm-hmm. It might be a little bit hard on that edge right there, but let me see. Hmm. Got to go a little bit lighter on that edge right there, but okay. I like that one too. So all of them will suffice. Just do it a couple of times till you get comfortable with it, and you'll be all right. Okay. All right. So let's try this other positioning real quick. Let's see. What about something that we might? What about this one right here? This one looks pretty interesting. All right. So we're gonna outline our shapes real quick. We'll just do that on another layer here. So we'll use this layer. I guess we could use the same layer that we had before, or we'll just add another layer. All right. So let me see here. What kind of shape do we have here? So here it looks like if I was thinking about it like a box, right? It looks like something like this. Okay, am I doing it right? Yeah, like that. So that would be that part of the hand. I'll just go ahead and make this all one shape because I don't care about that. I can learn that part later. All right, this part right here, what I'll do is I'll draw a box at the top of the finger and I'll break it down into 3D, again, shapes. Okay. This is the side of the finger here. And then I'll go over here and do like this. And then I'll make a little box here. 2, 3. 1, 2. Let me see if I can get this right here. I might have messed up right there. Hold up. I don't like the way that one looks. I think I could find something a little bit more understandable. Let me see. So I got, what if I do this? Okay, let me see. This would have to be the side of it here. That means this would be the other side, and this would be that. Ah, there we go. All right, and then from there we'll draw a little shape like this, and then this is like a cylinder shape going into the hand. Okay, and you can see here the box is kind of cut into thirds here. Okay, so this is the power of learning how to draw things in dimension. You know what I'm saying? So let's take this away. Right? So now we can see kind of the raw shape of the hand and kind of how it goes together, right? So let's see if we can put this hand together real quick with our pencil, okay? All right. So we're gonna all right, so let's do like this. Let's go ahead and start with our major shapes here. So we'll start with this shape, this big block shape, because that's the biggest shape of them all. So what we're doing is we're creating a 3D model. Wait a minute, you know what I messed up there. Hold on. Let's go with the top of the box first. Always think 1D first and then 3D. So this is the top of the box here. Okay. And then you can see where it goes down here. And it has like a side to it here. And then from that side, it has this side. And then it goes around like this. So this is like the whole side of the hand right there. Okay. So again, let's just learn how to draw it in planes first. Okay. Now we're going to go to the next block over here, which would be this big block up here. So what we're doing here is we're thinking, okay, 1D again. So we're going to draw the top of the block first and kind of just guesstimate the distance that it is. All right, so that's the top of the box. All right, and then this might be the front of my box. Okay, and then this will be the side of my box. Right, and then this will be the front or side of that box, side of the back part of the box, and then this will be the back of the finger. Okay, so we got two shapes here, right? And what we're doing again is developing our understanding of the planes or the shapes of that hand, right? Now we'll come over here, okay? And we're going to just kind of come off of that box here. And I'll tell you what, we'll go over here and add this shape. This way we can get a sense of how big the extremities are. So a good way to do it, sometimes you don't want to draw in the middle. You might want to draw the outsides and then connect them all together. So these extremities might be considered the outside of the shape. Okay, so here I can see that I have basically a bridge that's going like this. That will represent the top of the finger, and then I'll just come down here and connect it. Okay, so that's my thumb, the top of my thumb shape. Now all I have to do is connect all these shapes together. Okay, so now I just need to look at this space in here, right? All right, and just follow think of it like a road, and you're following this map towards your road. Okay, so everything that I've learned how to draw in my life, I've learned kind of using this similar method. And then once I've drawn it so many times, I get a sense of how the hand is created in this particular position. So there's so many different ways you can draw the hand from this angle, but nothing beats having, again, that understanding of what it is that you're looking at when you draw the hand, because that's what happens a lot of times. You might get confused about where things go at when you don't have this 3D perspective. So this is why I always encourage my students to practice with and here we're just basically just trimming off the edges of it now, making it round, right? You see how we making the edges round? That's how you learn how to draw that hand, you see? So if we put this hand back here like where we had it before, let's go back here, boom. But let's take this out. Okay, so now we can see what we're trying to do. We're just basically trimming these little spots off right here. Okay, we can see that this is like that. See that little fold right there? That fold is underneath this box right here. Okay, that's the side of this box. So it's going around, it's going down, it's going up, around, and then it's got like a little piece right there. Wait, let me see. Make sure I got a good understanding of that. Okay, so this would be, let me look at it, Rouser. Okay, so it'll be this. Take your time, take your time. And then here goes my knuckles right here. These are the knuckles, right? And so you have a shape that's going in, kind of like toward the knuckles here, and then this shape here, and then this would be the bottom of the box, kind of coming around to the top of the knuckle. So this would be the shapes that we want in here. Okay, then we'll come down here, go around, and into that shape. And up here, we'll do the same thing. See, we can see where we're at now. This is the underside of that finger. That's this line right here. It'll be the underside of this box here. And then this line here will be the overside of it. And we can add a little bit of dimension, you know, a little bit of curvature to it if we want. And it also helps us to get our thumb, our nail right. You see how our nail can go right in there like that? Okay. All right, let me see here. So now we can go underneath that box, and we can see right here on this front side of this plane, that's where that goes at, right? And then we got this here, okay? So now once it's connected, it's kind of going over like this, and then this little piece right here doesn't actually connect there. It kind of floats in mid-air here, so that you can see this knuckle here. This knuckle here is getting a little bit smaller. And I notice as it gets to here, it doesn't really come outside of the box. So this seems to be the dominant knuckle here. So I'll just put that dominant knuckle right here, okay? And then now we have let's go up here. And now we got the outside of this finger. We're wrapping around it, making it a little bit rounder. Okay, like that, right? And then we'll come in here. Right, and we're going inside. Now let me show you something. Once you understand how to draw the hand that way, okay, let's do this here. Something's a little bit off there. Okay, there it is. Okay. Then knowing all these different planes, watch how I can add shadow because I kind of understand what's going on with the hand. So let's just say the lighting is coming from this way, right? Then obviously everything underneath is not going to get any shadow. So I can add shadow here. I can add shadow here. Right, I already got some on this side of the hand, right? These are our finger separations, right? So if you think about it, they're kind of flowing like this around, right? Here, this underside of the finger won't be getting any light either. So you can see how I can add shadow here to make it look like, right? To give it, now look at this side. So this side might not be getting as much light. It might get some light, you know. So let's say it's doing like this. It might get some light at the very top. So maybe I might just do the underside of this one and leave a little light right there. But for sure, this whole side of the finger is being obscured by the light, and this side is definitely being obscured because it is completely away from the light. You get what I'm saying? And this does not need to be connected all the way to that. Okay, that's what's making it look weird. Okay. Get it? So this is how you know how to put your shadows. So this type of information will translate well when you go into a face. You know, if you ever draw a face, you know how to draw these 3D figures. You can draw just about anything you want to. Okay. All right. So I think we'll do maybe one more position. So we learned 2 positions today. All right. Let's go ahead and revisit that first position again. Okay. Let's take this out and let's add this one here. Okay. Now with this one, there really wasn't a lot of 3Ding to it because the reason is because it's not really drawn at an angle. So when the hand is at an angle like it is here, then you'll see different positions of the fingers and stuff. But so this is a pretty straightforward picture. Just remember how we drew that. We could just go back here. I don't want to dirty up no more paper. Okay, and remember, this is just a simple shape where if you want to exaggerate it, just look at it like this. This is kind of oblong, so the shape is going like this. So if you're drawing a caricature, you don't have to get this exactly perfect. It almost looks like a tip of a chisel marker. Like if you ever, let me see if I can find one of them bad boys. Do I have a chisel? Oh yeah, I do. Right here. Okay. You see the tip of this marker right here? Okay. If I turn it this way, see what it looks like? It's kind of shaped like that, but it's just longer. For you guys on Instagram, you can see the tip of that marker right there. So it kind of looks like the same thing. If I turn it to an angle, it looks like the same kind of shape, right? Okay. So you put that shape right here, and then on the bottom right here, what do we have? We have some, you know what I'll think of these as? I'll think of these as buildings. So if I turn it upside down, right, look at it as like let's do something crazy. Okay. Let's think of it like, let me take this out and do this here. And then I'm gonna just turn down the opacity a little bit. Go back over here, and we can think of it like some building. So watch this. Let's use a different color. Let's use I guess we can use this blue. Okay. So watch. Okay. Okay. Okay, a building. and then it has like a building with a sitting on top of a, what is that? Let's make it this. I don't know what that could be. Let me see. Sitting on top of something. I don't know. And this over here, what is this? Okay. But we're looking at this part of it. I don't know. We have to think of but this basically looks like some buildings, right? If I take this away, you see how that looks like some buildings right there? Okay. And I'm thinking you guys can see that pretty good, right? So that's all you have to be thinking when you draw this hand. Just think, you know what? Don't make it perfect. Just, hey man, I'm drawing on top of some buildings, right? Hold on a minute. Okay, right here. And then we can see this little shape here. I don't know what we can think of this shape as, but this little blue shape over here. I'm trying to think what I can think of that as. Anybody got an idea for that? I don't know. Maybe we can just say it's a. I don't know. And this right here looks like a little cup, like a shaker or something like that. Like it reminds me of a part of a shaker of a. You know, if you ever seen a shaker on top of something that you drink, you know, you right. That's what it reminds me. It reminds. I keep thinking of that. This part of it, almost when I see it, right. So we got that building there. So that's how you draw that hand in a real easy perspective. Okay. All right. So we have learned that position, and then we learned this position. This one was a little bit more difficult, but we still was able to break it down by again coming here, boop, taking this one out, and we will bring this one back here. Where are you? Oh, here it is. Okay, turn it upside down. And we drew it in planes. Wait, so that we could see kind of how it looks in 3D form first. Okay. All right. So I don't know. Do you guys want to? I'm not really getting a lot of participation crowd wise. So let me see here. Let me see. I guess I'll go to some faces now, since you guys might be tired of drawing hands. Are you? Is this okay or? All right. Let me see here. All right. Let's go with one more hand position, and since I'm not getting any objections to this. All right. So what other one can we practice? Let's see here. Maybe this one right here. Okay. So let's go back to put this layer here. Okay. And then we're going to break down our hand into shapes again. Okay. So let's see here. Let's go with a different color. Let's go with, I guess, red again. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn down this opacity here so I can see the hand without all those lines there. All right, so let's learn this one here. All right, so in general, we have a couple of shapes here. We have this shape, okay, and that shape basically is this shape here. Then we have this shape. And that shape basically is this shape here. So that looks like a piece of bread already, right? Oh, just as happy with face. Okay, cool. We're going to do some faces here in just a minute. I was just warming up with this. So this looks like a piece of bread already, doesn't it? Okay. Now over here, we have, what I would do here is I would draw a circle right here. So it kind of looks like I guess maybe like maybe a helmet, maybe. I don't know. And then from there, I think this shape here would be like another circle. Okay, so it looks like two little rolls maybe. I don't know. Now up here, I would do. Look at this whole shape here. So let's look at this whole idea and say it looks like maybe 1, 2, 3. I would say this looks like 4. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll call them. You ever seen them hoagie rolls, where they kind of look like this, right? But they have like little, right? And it looks like a sandwich roll, right? Well, those are 4 sandwich rolls, because when we draw them in 3D, when we add shadows to them, we want to think about it like a sandwich roll, not a flat object, right? So pretty much what we're going to do is we'll go over here and we'll first start out with our bread, right? Man shall not live by bread alone, right? No, we shall not, because we're going to add dimension to the bread. Okay, and you can see the hand is kind of coming, the wrist is coming from underneath here like that. So we got a piece of bread as our palm, right? Okay, then from there, right, what do we have? Remember, we had our little circle, our helmet, right? So we'll put our helmet, and then we'll put 2 circles and our little rolls coming into the hand, right? See that right there? And then over here we got 4 hoagie rolls, right? So we're gonna, the ends of it are cut off, but this is gonna be the short. So notice also this one gets bigger. So it's a small one, a big one, then an even bigger one, and then one that's shortly smaller than that one. So we'll have a small one, right? 1 hoagie roll, right? And then we got another hoagie roll. Then we got a bigger hoagie roll, right? And then we got one that's smaller than that one. Okay. So see here, we already got our hand down to a picture. So we got 4. So it's a lot of bread on these hands, right? It's the bread, the hands of bread, right? This is going to be the side of our hand, right? Giving our hand the dimension that it needs, right? This will be the side of our hand here, right? And pretty much you just, in the center of the hand, you can see here, it's like a triangle almost that's in the center of the hand to give the hand its folds and stuff in the middle. All right, this is that little ridge right there. Okay, and let me see here. Let me go over here and turn this up a bit so I can see let's take this out here. Okay. So we got this, got this, and that, and pretty much the hand is done there. Okay. So we got a good understanding of this position. This is the last hand position we'll do for today. We're gonna go ahead and get into the caricatures, but the cool thing about it is we're gonna kind of use this same concept to practice our heads, right? Right. We're gonna get it through our heads. All right. So we have 3 hand positionings. I hope that you were able to learn something from those hand positionings today. Again, let me just take away this so that you can see that hand positioning, because this video will be re-uploaded so you can go back and look at the hoagie rolls all put together, right? All right. So let's go ahead and go into faces. So we're gonna pick out a face for us to draw. You guys are ready to do some faces today. All right. Let's take this out, and we will go to our gallery. I'm gonna put this up here, and we will find a face to draw this morning. Okay, so let's just see if we can find the face. All right, let's look at okay. I guess it really doesn't matter. Let me see here. All right, here we got plenty of faces. All right, so let's try this face here. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, now what I'm gonna do is just get it. Let me just adjust it to the size of the page here. I need to make it bigger. So give me a sec here. All right, and I'm gonna take this down for a minute since we're not really using this one right now. We'll just put it down here. Okay. And this is our face we're going to be learning to draw today. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to, and again, if you're new to caricature, this is a good way to learn. If you have a drawing program on your phone, you should be able to do what I am doing. It does help that I have a stylus, but if you don't have a stylus, they sell them in Walmart or whatever. You can get you a stylus for your phone. And so to help you, instead of having to use your finger on your screen, but if you do have a stylus, like I have actually, what kind of phone is this? I have that Samsung phone, so these phones right here are really good with having the stylus with them, right? And it'll make doing this really easy. Okay, so I'm just going down a little bit. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this up here, and now we're going to go back over here. Okay, and we're gonna look at this face. Okay, so let's look at it and see what kind of shapes we can make up out of this face. Okay, all right. So let's do. I'm just gonna do a loose interpretation. Okay, like this, something like that, something like this, something like this. I might add a little bit more wideness and flatness to this part. So wait, boom, wait, there we go. All right. So like this, I'm drawing a little, so I'm not copying this exactly the way it is in the picture. I'm making my exaggerations while I'm literally drawing over the top of it. So I can see what I want, right? In an easier way. All right, so I need to turn up the opacity here a little bit so I can see the hair. I can't really see it. So I'm gonna turn it up just a bit, okay? Go back to my layer here. Okay, and I think I'm seeing something like this here. Again, I'm gonna turn it up. right? Maybe add some little earrings here, and then I might turn it up over here. And I'm just, again, just making a cool, like, free shape around the outside of it, okay? And then let me see here. I might do something like this, something like that. Okay. All right. So now what I'll do here is I'm gonna take this out. Boom. Okay. And now you can see the shape that I'm looking at, right? To draw that face, I think I need to go a little bit more around the back of the head here. So let me go back here like this. Okay. All right, now let's take it out again. All right, there we go. So that's the shape that we're looking at right there. Yeah, exactly right. Over the hill, Phil. Okay, so once I have that idea down, now I can come back with my pencil or my marker or whatever, and I can simply draw that shape. So here I'm gonna draw with my Crayola, okay? And we'll see if we can't create a caricature of this young lady here. All right, so here we go. So what I'll do here is I'll start here. And I remember I did this a little bit wider, okay? And then what I'll do is I'll go to the top of my head here, right? And as long as I have it kind of in that ballpark, I'm going to get a pretty good likeness to the person, to her. Okay, so here I'll just go to the top of my shape. I'm gonna go down here. Keep it loose. Maybe add my earring shape in here. And then over here again, I might have went a little bit too far to the left over here, but that's to the right, excuse me. But that's okay. And I could add some earring shapes in here. Okay. Now, once I get to this point, I usually start from the top, and then I'll work down in my picture. Okay. So let's go back to her face. All right. I can sit here and I can break down all the shapes, right? Or I could just go with it. What I'm concerned about though is this line right here. Okay. And this line, I believe it's called hold on a minute. I can't remember. Yesterday I was practicing this. Oh, sorry guys, on Instagram there. Again, guys, if you feel like you're benefiting from the information today, don't forget, man, tips are awesome, man. Thank you so much in advance. I was studying this thing here yesterday called the Riley method, and I learned a little bit so you see this line right here across the top of the eyes. I can't remember, but it's a brow line. Basically, it's a bone inside of your face. And what you want to do is you want to establish that first so you can see kind of where your brows are going to go. So what I'll do for the sake of argument, I'll just go ahead and put it right here, okay? So this will kind of be where my brow line is, and so it gives me an idea of where how my forehead shape is going to fit in. So this is something I wanted to show you guys. All right, let me see here. Oh, okay, Ariel, you want to make them too? Aruel on Instagram. How are you today? All right. Oh yeah. Well, you're at the right place. If you want to learn, this is my practice time, man. So I appreciate you coming out. All right. So what I'm gonna do here is I'll put my brows there, right? Now, what I do with my eye shapes is this. I know my eyes are going to fit below that line, okay? So I want to, basically all I'm deciding is how far below the line are the actual pupils. So when I'm drawing a picture, I'm always looking at this part of the eye here, all right? This is how I determine my distances, okay? So the wrong thing to do is to start by looking at the top of the eye. You want to look at the pupils. The pupils and all your relationships are based off of, like drawing circles in the middle of everything. You can see where your relationships are. You get what I mean? So if you think of it like this, it becomes a lot easier for you to draw things. All right. So what I'm going to do here then is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw I could either draw my pupil shape first, or I could do a number like this where I just go down like this. Watch, let me take this out. Okay, so I do this 1, 2, right, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. And then I'll do like this, 1, 2. And then I'll add my eyelashes, 1, 2. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. All right. So this is what we're gonna do here. Now we're gonna do our nose shape. And what I'm gonna do here is I want to funnel my shapes. Let me see here. Now this is also that line from the brow line here. Oh, close. Let's go here. This line from the brow line, you can see here, this is a good place to be able to make that line from too. So you can see, how that's going to work out. So this is basically the same line that I'm going to use, right, to draw my picture. Right? Add some more lashes here. I always like to use a lot of lashes on my female caricatures. Okay, and then from there, we go to our mouth shape, right? But first, you want to draw this thing right here. And this is called, in portrait, it's called a philtrum. And it's basically a circle above, between the lip and so you could have a space between there, because sometimes you'll get that space. You might draw it too close to the nose, so you want to make sure you have that space. Some people have a large one, some people have a small one, but what I'm going to do here is just go ahead and I'm going to draw this part of my mouth here. Right? And then I can come back with my lip shape here and here. Right? Okay. All right. Now I did draw the face a little bit wider at the bottom than it is in the real life, but like I said, as long as I'm getting a good likeness, I don't really care about that. I don't feel like it's distasteful. In fact, it might even accentuate the fact that she has a very strong jawline here that kind of goes up into her face. And if I ever need to trim things down a little bit, I'll show you a trick on how I do that. So now here I'll just add some little hairs to the inside of the drawing, right? Just some quick ones, right? And then we'll go ahead and we'll take out we'll take out this, and then we'll go here and we'll turn up our picture, our reference, so we can see where we started from. Okay. So here goes our actual drawing here. Okay. Okay. Now let's just get rid of the line above the brow line. Okay. And then we'll come back with this gray. And then we'll add some, hey, how are you, Alfia Art? What's going on? What's going on? Welcome to the stream. All right, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of shadow here. Again, how do you know where to put these shadows? Because behind everything in the face is a shape first, and then it's a feature. So you have to be thinking like that. Okay. So we got the side of the nose. See how I just kind of drew a plane to one side, right? And then here, I could do a simple like that, and gives it some shade on the lips, right? Okay. Okay. Again, now if I want to, let's say I want to trim this down some, what I can do is add a shadow to the face on the sides. Okay, and see how it kind of slim the face down a little bit, and it goes naturally with the drawing. So that's one of my little tricks that I use this pen for. Okay. All right. And let me see here. I think pretty much we got the drawing done here. Okay, and then we'll just go ahead here and we'll take this and add a little filtrum in there, right? So let's go ahead and take out the whatever pencil markings that we have. And then the last part, it would be to do your hair. And I got a question about this the other day online. Someone was asking me, well, how do you, excuse me. Hey, right on, Douglas. Thank you so much. All right. They asked me, how do you draw the hair, but without the hair becoming all blackened in when somebody has really dark hair like this? So I guess I'm going to go ahead and address that question in case they're watching today. I'll go ahead and show you how I do that. All right, now I'm sharpening my crayon, so give me a minute here to sharpen this crayon to a good point. And then from there, I'll show you exactly how it's done. All right, so again, guys, if you feel like you're benefiting from the information today, man, tips are awesome. Thank you so much, man, in advance for showing a little love. If you want a tip, guys, you can do so through the super chat on YouTube, or you can go to our Cash App, which would be hold on, I'm just going to type it here for you guys on Instagram. It'll be $ browser world, and then we'll just go at, and then we'll put okay. And so those are that's the information there for you guys. And let me just go ahead and I don't know if I could copy that and paste it. But anyway, all right. So let's see here. How do I do that? Well, what I do is, I think the easiest way to think about this is, again, you have to understand dimension now. With her hair, she has a lot of curls in her hair, okay? So if you can't use a lot of times, unless you're really, really, really good at doing hair, you've had a lot of practice with it, I wouldn't recommend you start doing it like what I do. I use a marker, and I can go through the hair effortlessly kind of with the marker. But you can, if I recommend you use a crayon or something that can color easily in a gradient, okay, for if you're a beginner. So let's say I want to create a braid, like this little curl that she got like this. So what I'm doing is I'm already creating here the pattern for my curl. Okay, so each one of them I'm thinking of as their own individual curl. Okay, So you see how I'm kind of swirling the marker around like this. Now let me show you. So here I'm gonna do the same thing. Back here, I might not be so meticulous with my pattern. I might just make them a little bit tighter. Up here, I'm gonna be kind of going outward with my stroke and not per se in a curl pattern. Okay. So what I have now is the actual curl itself. So now from here, what I would do is I would go a little bit darker, right? And then I will go over the top of that. Okay, but don't color it all the way in. Just go a little bit darker. Okay, and what it'll do, it'll give you a sense of a little bit of dimension, and it's allowing the picture to come to you. In the middle of this, I might draw some. In the middle of this, I might draw some here and here, right? And then what I'll do is I'll come back even darker in the spaces that are closest to the head, again trying to create the dimension. So now when I get next to the face, these sections here, you can see I can color in relatively darkly, right? And I can still go back and touch things up, right, as I go along. Okay, you can add little hairs on the end if you want once you get to the end, like here. But this is like a quick way, you know, to do your hair, and you don't have to do all of those details. You don't have to do too many details and overwork your hair. You know what I mean? You don't have to do that much. And then she has some little freckles or whatever, so I can use this as also as my freckle maker, right? Okay. Now her face is a little bit slimmer. I could have made it a little slimmer, but when I shortened the chin up, it made it look fatter this way. So I went to go ahead and accentuate this part of her jawline a little bit more, but I still feel like it's pretty favorable to her. So I think that's what we're gonna call it on that drawing right there. Okay. All right. So that is don't forget to sign your work. Okay. And that's drawing number 1 there. Okay. Neon colors. All right, let me see here. I'm not sure what you mean, Alfred. Let me do that right there for you guys too. I don't think y'all can see the whole thing. All right, so let's go to our next face and break it down. Let's see what time we got. 11 o'clock. All right, so let's see who we got next here. Let's take that out and let's add this one here. Let's see. All right. I guess we can go with maybe this face here. Let's make it nice and big. All right. And then we'll turn down the opacity on it just a bit. So so we can see our lines. And then we'll add another layer here to draw on top of it. Okay. So what we're going to do is just, again, map out our facial features. And then once we get those facial features in, we go ahead and start our drawing. Okay. So let's go for it. All right. So we're going to do an overall head shape. So we want something like this. Okay. Something like this. Okay. And then I'm just doing, again, a loose interpretation. I can make things a little bit bigger or smaller depending on what I want my exaggeration to be, right? I don't like that right there. I think I'm going to take that out. I don't like adding a lot of breaks because his face looks so, he has a young looking face, so I don't want to do that. I'm going to stay with one line here. All right, and then I'll come over here and add this. And then I'll change the neck relationship, which makes your cartoon automatically look like a cartoon. All right, okay. Now let me see here. From Crayola, I use for my caricature. Are you using these or something? No, I use from Crayola. I use Crayola when I'm drawing live too. Either I use Crayola or I use Sharpies. So I don't use anything like really super expensive or anything like that to be able to do this. All right, let's go ahead and go to our features. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna have the features on a whole different layer by themselves. So when we get to those, we don't have to. So let's go here. We'll figure out what we have to do basically. So let's get our brow line. So we got our brows. Watch. So I'm just trying to see what my brow is going to look like. I'm going to use these here to give me the sense of how close together I need to make these lines. Okay. And then I'll just do like a semicircle kind of in the middle. Right. I'm going to make his nose. His nose is kind of wide there a little bit. So I might go just a little bit wider on the nose. Right. And then, okay, we got that filtrum. Remember, this is very little filtrum, so he has a small one compared to that. And then we'll just do like this. We'll come over here, add the line. Come over here, add the line. Come down here. And here. And then I might just make his lips are kind of full, so I might go a little bit fuller of a lip shape. Okay, again, because I don't want to make it look like I just copied the drawing. I want it to be right. And then we'll have our T shape here, so we can just do something like this. Okay, and then we can put some shoulders in. So let's just do like this. And he has like a little necklace or something like that. Okay. All right. So I think we got pretty much everything we need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away his picture so you can see the raw. First of all, let's look at the raw head shape. Okay. Take away the picture. This is what we want to be able to see. Okay. So this is the first thing that I look for when I'm drawing the caricature. I want to be able to see that overall head shape. All right. So again, if you don't feel comfortable enough just going straight with the marker to it, you always have your pencil handy. But don't draw the picture as if you were drawing the caricature for real. Okay. And this will give you, see, like right here, I'm not sketching, I'm drawing. Okay, so I'm going here to my head shape, right? Okay, then from here I'll go to my ear shape. Okay, from here I'll go to my other ear shape here, and I'm just copying kind of what I initially perceived the face to be. I think this is a little bit, go down, something like that. Okay, cool. All right, and then I'll go here. I'll kind of moon the face out a little bit. Put this shape down here. Again, I'm not worried about being exactly perfect. Okay. And then we said he had a necklace and some shoulders. Okay. All right. So I have my overall head shape there. Okay. And once I have that, now we'll come back and we add our inner features. So here we go. So here we can see the features of the face pretty much mapped out for us, okay? So what I'm gonna do here, all right, again, I'm gonna establish where my brow line is gonna be at. So let's look at his picture, okay? And we can see based off of this that the brow line is about right here above the ear shape, right? So on our drawing, we know that this is kind of like the shelf where his eyebrows are going to sit at. That means everything's going to go kind of beneath that shape. So here again, I'm not copying what I see. I'm not copying the drawing verbatim. Everything is always, each drawing is going to come out different. Every time you redo it in a different way, it's going to, but as long as you keep the general idea, you're going to get that likeness, okay? Here we're going to do is we're going to drop our shape down. So we want something that's really squeezed and little here, right? And then we add the eyes in there, right? See how that is right there? All right, then we go here and we add our nose shape, okay? Remember he said we had a little bit of a wide nose. So we'll add a little bit of wideness to the nose. Like that. Okay. All right, then we'll go ahead and we got the fulcrum, which is again that little circle over the top of the nose. And then here, as long as I keep the idea of what the initial drawing, I should be okay. Okay, doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. Now we'll put our teeth shape in here. Again, I don't have to be perfect. As long as I get those front two teeth in there and these few side ones here, I'm good. The bottom ones don't really have to show as much. This is a cartoon, right? All right, so we got our shapes down. So let's take out everything, the lines and everything, and the head shape, and then we'll go back to the original drawing itself. Okay, and then we can see where we're at. So all we have to do now is come back with our Crayola, or whatever it is you're drawing with, and then you can fill it in. So let me get another Crayola. This one's kind of drying out a little bit on me. Okay, here we go. Okay, remember, each time you do it, it's going to be a little bit different because you're correcting. You're seeing different things each time you draw that picture. So this might be the top. I might squeeze these a little bit more, right? And make them a little bit more squeezed, right? To get that look like that, right? And I might come over here. I'm looking at the picture. I'm studying. Okay. This is just my base. Okay, then we come over here. Look at that. We got this shape here. Boom. I might do like this and bring it up a little bit more. Right? Add a little bit more curvature. A little bit more fullness to the top lip. Maybe I might go here and decide I want to go with the T shape first. Right? And then I might want to come down here and drop this down a little bit more to bring the teeth in here, right? And then do something like this here, and then use a wide shape right there. I might come down. Now I got I got that in there. So I might do something like this. Let's see here. Let's add some. Yeah. Okay. Then we'll come over here. We'll add our chin shape here. Okay, and then we'll add this ear shape here. Maybe I might go a little bit smaller on this ear, and then maybe a little bit wider on the other ear here, a little bit wider and rounder, more Ernie-ish, right? When I think of an Ernie-ish ear, you know, Ernie in the Bert and Ernie show, remember Sesame Street? He had a little bit more of a rounder ear shape like he does. I can adjust my neck, right? I can also come here. Now I can see a little bit more of this, so I can go here, put my hairline in there like that, right? All right, and then let me see here. Let's go ahead and we can bring this in just a little bit more, tighten it in, right? And then over here, we'll just have it kind of coming down, right? The sides of the drawing. And up here, I might make some tight curls, a tight little curl shape, not too wild up there, just kind of tight, right? And we can see the fade is going to be about right here, and then this will be the head coming around here. Okay, so in the middle of this eyebrow, I might go dark. On the side, on the back end of it, I might go a little bit lighter with a different pattern, right? Okay, and pretty much I'll put some dimples in here, maybe, right? I incorporated that roundness in the shape here on this side, so I didn't get to do it with this side because it's more straighter, so that's why I put that little one there. But other than that, all right, let's create a little bit of 3-dimension. So we might when we color our hair in, color it in with dimension here, so you can see it kind of came out a little bit more. Okay, then we'll add our little necklace here, shirt, shoulders, and then we will come back and erase our guidelines. So let me erase those out. And we can be done with that. Okay, so that looks good right there. That's our initial drawing. All right, now let's see here. Let's hit our gray marker here, and then we'll add a little bit more details. So I'll just kind of color in these eyes here. Something like that, right? Something like that. I usually just go ahead and go dark on the top lip like that. Okay. And then we will add our shadows to the bottom of the face. Again, something that I recommend that you definitely practice is learning to draw with dimension. And that's just as simple as learning to draw simple shapes, diamonds, squares, circles, whatever, and kind of shading them in so that they have dimension to them. This is going to greatly help your caricature drawing, because then it teaches you how to draw lines in order, and what lines to make thicker and what lines not to make as thick, you know, all that kind of stuff will come as a result. So I'll go over here. I'm gonna go ahead and automatically just color these little shapes in here dark. Everything else on the hair is going to be lighter than that, so I'll just come here and color this all in light. Give myself a base layer and then work to the dark. Okay, if you're a beginner, don't try to draw it with a marker like I do off the top, because that's going to be a little bit harder for you to get to until you can master it with this first. I think that's the best way to do it. Okay, so here we'll just get a quick coloring job. Okay, all right, and I think that's pretty much it for this drawing. Right, might add some darks here to the side of the mouth just to bring my smile out a little bit more. Okay, and there we have a pretty good picture right there of him, a cartoon drawing, right? Okay, all right. So again, guys, thank you. I want to appreciate thank you guys for coming out to the stream today. It was super awesome to have you. I'm not going to keep you guys long today. I'm going to actually go ahead and start getting ready for the word of the day, and that's just where I share a word of encouragement with you at the end of every stream. I do that. So again, we're done with the drawing segment of the stream. If you want a tip, again, guys, thank you so much for tips in advance. You can do so through Super Chat, or you can do through Cash App, which if you guys are on Instagram, you already know how to get the cash. Just go $Rouse the World. I think I had already messaged it on there for you, so you can, right here I can write it down for you again. Tips are appreciated. Okay, all right, so, and that's here, so you guys can see that there. Okay, all right. So I think we're done. Let me go ahead, guys. Give me a minute. I'm gonna go to get my materials ready for the word of the day, and then we'll go ahead and get you guys out of here. All right, I'll be right back, guys. All right, guys. Go ahead and turn off my music just real quick. All right, guys. So welcome back to the stream. We're going to go ahead and get into our word of the day. So this is the part of the stream where I share a word of encouragement with you, not only to encourage you, but to encourage me as well. So please don't get anything misconstrued. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. This is how I live mine. This is what I do as part of my practice. When I practice drawing, before I practice, I like to pray that God gives me an insight that I don't have, a patience that I don't have, or that take away any type of, specifically for me, I pray that he takes away any type of motives, ulterior motives that don't line up with his motives for wanting to learn the information. A lot of times what causes us to not be able to see things is that we're bound by some type of desire that is not necessarily something, and I heard it in a movie one time. It says those who are bound by desire can only see things that they can hold in their hands. Let me show that again. That was from one of my favorite movies, The Last Dragon. It said those who are bound by a desire can only see things that they can hold in their hands. In other words, they live a very physical based life. They're the type that you'll see always talking about money and always talking about what they got and what they're gonna get, and you know what I mean. You'll kind of know them based off of the conversation. And I will hold my hand up. I'll raise my hand and say that, you know what, at one point in my life, I was exactly like that, because I walked around. Everything had to be a selfless, a self-driven motive. There was no matter what I did, there was always some type of hustle behind it, or some type of, you know, I couldn't have a hobby. In other words, a hobby is something that you sit down and enjoy doing, but you don't get anything for it. You just want, that's just something that you do to relax and enjoy your time. And it's important to have those things in your life. But if you're a very physical, like, or a worldly driven person, it's going to be hard for you to have hobbies or even to volunteer your time, or to be giving to of yourself or your time or talent to anybody, because there has to be a gain in everything for you to be able to enjoy it. Which the crazy part about it is that you can never really truly enjoy life until you, so to speak, stop and smell the coffee. So today I want to again share this word of the day with you, because of this. It helps me to, it doesn't just help, not just for you guys, but also helps me to be able to process my day. You know, today I have so many hours in this day, and you know what, I need to have something to think about, because every time, I notice for me, every time I get away from the word, or if I don't read my scripture, or if I don't give myself, my mind, a direction and to go in the morning, it's easy to get off track when you don't have a set of, you know, you don't have a plan. Okay. So today my plan is to share my devotional with you. Excuse me, I'm sorry. My devotional with you. Okay, and then after that we're gonna look at a couple scriptures and about that. Okay, so today our word of the day is going to be the God of peace. Okay, we're going to go to the book of Matthew. Let me mark that right there. We're going to go to the book of Matthew, and we're going to go to verse 6. So that's the first book in the New Testament. For you guys are new to going around in your Bible there. All right. And we're going to go to the 25th verse here. And I'm going to read this here. And it says, "That is why I tell you not to worry about everyday life, whether you have enough food and drink or enough clothes to wear. Isn't life more than food and your body more than clothing. Look at the birds. They don't plant or harvest or store food in barns, for your heavenly Father feeds them. And aren't you far more valuable to Him than they are? Can all your worries add a single moment to your life? Amen. So there's so many things that brings to mind, so many thoughts, because as an artist, since this is our commonality here, we're all coming together as artists, and we're wanting to become better at that. But as an artist, you cannot go forward. It's going to be hard to go forward. It's going to be a very difficult road to go forward when your mind is not at rest. When you don't have peace in your mind, you're always going to be, again, drawing from this place of desperation. This is perhaps why the word starving artist is used a lot, right? Because when you are not convinced that you're going to be cared for and taken care of, you are always going to have a desperation in your mind and in your heart and your spirit. And when you, let's say you want to go find a place to draw, like as a caricaturist, you have to go find places to draw. Well, if you go there, that might give you the mindset of, what if this person tells me no? What if these people stand over my shoulder and look at me draw? That's going to make me nervous. What do I say to people when I'm in front of them? All these questions, are questions you're going to come across as a caricaturist, right? As an artist in general, but I'm just talking about caricature art since that's what we're here for. And those questions all arise from basically not knowing that your position is one of stability. You don't know where you stand, so you are looking for someone else to tell you where to stand. And because you're not sure you're going to be able to meet the requirements of the position that they're putting you in, then you become desperate, scared, worried, and you do other things to compensate. Maybe you might want to, before work, maybe you might want to have a drink because you feel like, you know what, I don't have it within me to entertain, that the people won't like me unless I'm the life of the party, or I can't be a life of the party without this. Maybe you might do some drugs before you go. Right? Or maybe you could do a number of things that are unproductive. They're not only are they unproductive, maybe you'll tell yourself a whole bunch of other lies. Anything that you can tell yourself, maybe I need to wear maybe I can't get a boyfriend or a husband unless I don't have, unless I walk around with showing my body off. Maybe I need to be half naked in order for someone to look at me. Maybe I need to have these eyelashes or I'm not pretty, right? Maybe I need to have these shoes or I'm not popular. You see the list of stuff can go on, and that's what the enemy does. The enemy is simply anything that's contrary to the word of God. The word of God is simply, to me, the word of life. And so either I believe all of it or none of it. So again, that's why that term comes about, because the anxiousness that we put, it says again, do not be anxious about your life, what you will eat, what you will wear. So these are all these other things I think about. I have to, when I go to work, I have to know that God's going to make sure that I have food, because I have a family. I have three children that I'm raising. I have four kids, but my oldest is already on her own. But I have three kids, and I started out later again in life. So I have a 12-year-old daughter. I have a 3-year-old son, and I have a 6-month-old son. Okay, and I'm 51 years old. Okay, so there you can imagine that every day the devil plays with me with my mortality. Am I gonna, am I gonna live to see my kids have kids and all this kind of stuff? Am I, what about this? What about this? How am I gonna provide? Man, you're getting older. You know, what this and that and the other thing. It's just one constant lie that the devil, he never rests, he never stops, and the only way you can combat that is to know the word of truth. No matter when you hear a lie, you'll hear a lot of lies. Like I know someone here said that they were watching TikTok, right? And I was like, well, when you go through, there's so many things. The other day, I was actually watching a TikTok, and it said that a certain person was dead, and I was like, what? I went to go search that person. That person wasn't dead. So that was a lie. So just think on TikTok, if you flip through 30, let's say you flip through 30 videos, right? You got to understand that 28 of those videos are lying to you. 28 of them. They're just trying to put up content to get you hooked to watch it. If I can just get you to believe this lie for, they said back in the day they had a news thing. Dan Rather, he was a news reporter back in my day, and he says, if you give me 30 minutes, I'll give you the world. If I can get your attention for 30 minutes, then I can make you believe whatever I want you to believe. So I have to know, again, not to be anxious about my life, what I will eat, what I will drink, or I know about your body or what you will put on. Okay, in other words, I don't have to dress a certain way to be accepted by anybody. I don't have to have a certain haircut to be accepted by somebody. I don't have to have those things to be accepted by anyone, because at the end of the day, I understand where my strength comes from and where my provision comes from. And there's power in that, because now, again, you're not walking around trying to bend your life to everything and all these people all around you. So let me share the actual reading of the devotional. I don't want to keep you guys long here. It says these words from the scripture that I just read to you. And it says, fall in the middle of Jesus' most famous sermon, the Sermon on the Mount. The verse opens up with therefore in parentheses, which means Jesus is making a connection between the specific truth he mentioned in the previous verses and why it's important for us not to be anxious about our life. In the verses prior to this, he says it's because this life isn't where our focus should be. And you can't worry about something that you aren't focused on. So that's deep for me today. My life is not about me. My purpose on this earth is not about me. It's about where God is taking me to, where God is taking you to. You're going somewhere, and this life is temporary. You're not going to live forever. You're going to be here today and gone tomorrow. This Mother's Day represents the third Mother's Day that I've had to go through without my mom. The other day I was just on Facebook, and I was actually going to work yesterday, and Facebook gave me a memory from 9 years ago, and it was a memory of a Mother's Day that I had gone home, and it showed me and my mother, and some gifts I had bought her, and I remember that Mother's Day because prior to that Mother's Day, I was angry at my mom, and I hadn't been going to see her, and I hadn't been talking to her because I had my own hang-ups in life, and I don't want to get into that, but let's just say I was being stupid. And I winded up, I said, I was talking to my wife, and my wife said, you know, she said, Harry, the reason that you're so upset all the time, you're angry, she said, you need to forgive your parents. Whatever you think you believe about your parents or whatever, it says, God says to honor your mother and father, and your days on this life be long. You'll have peace in your life when you forgive your mom, whatever it is that she's done, whatever you feel like in your heart, that don't hold that against her. That's your mom. And I was like, and I listened, at first I didn't want to. Then eventually I listened to her. And for that Mother's Day, I decided I was going to go home. And and it turned out to be a good thing. But anyway, Facebook showed me those pictures. And I was, just kind of reminded that today, at this Mother's Day, that my mother was here, and now she's not here anymore. And no matter how much I want to see her, I can never see her again. Right? I mean, I don't know if you know how that feels to want to see somebody a lot. Like, you want to see them again. I have my grandsons, right? I mean, my sons, excuse me, her grandsons. She never got to meet them. I'm her oldest boy. I want my kids, and I wanted my kids. My vision was for them to know, right? But this is my life. You get what I mean? But God is telling us today that I can't focus on the way that I believe that life should go. Because your life wasn't given to you for you. It was given to you for a purpose. God called you into existence for a reason. Your existence makes sense. Your existence is because of something that God has in store for your life. This is what this word is speaking to me today. My existence was not about my mom, nor is it about my kids seeing their grandmother. Right? These people and things that I'm supposed to treat them because God has a purpose for their life. I'm supposed to treat these people that God brings into my path, I'm supposed to treat them according to the scripture. I'm supposed to treat them, let me say it again, according to the scripture. And that's my duty to God. That's the duty that I have to them. But God is saying, even though watch out though, because you will develop feelings for people and places and things. But the warning is never ever put any other God before me. That means that my friend and I, we talk about this movie. I want to say it's Val Kilmer. I think the movie was Heat. And he said, never get involved with something that you can't walk away from in 60 seconds or less. And while I'm not telling you to do that physically, I'm telling you how God thinks when it comes to the things of the world. He doesn't want you to get so involved in something that you forget about him and you forget about your purpose. Your life is being driven by a purpose, and that purpose comes from God. Now, again, we can't worry about something we're not focused on. So if we're worried about ourselves and we're worried about what's going to happen, that means that we're overly focused on who we're supposed to be perceived as. And we don't know what God already said we are. We are, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I can't, no matter what I do to myself, I can't change the way that you perceive me. I can't even fathom what you're looking at through the camera right now or listening to. I don't know what my voice sounds like to you. I don't know what I look like to you. I don't know what you think about me. These things I cannot know. So how can I sit here and be worried about that? It's going to drive me crazy because, you know, there are millions of people on the internet. There are millions of people, billions of people in this world. How can I possibly meet the demands of all these people? It's easier to just meet the demands of one, and that one is Jesus Christ. That one is God. It says instead, Jesus says we should aim to focus on our true home, that is in the next life in God's kingdom. One time, I was actually in I was actually incarcerated, and you know, they have when you get incarcerated, you have a sentence, and the sentence tells you this is how long you're going to be incarcerated for. You're going to be in this stage for 5 years. You can't leave here. This is where you're at. These are the people you're going to be around. But after that 5 years, you have a release date. Okay? And that day is going to be the day that the officials come to your cell and they're going to say, pack your stuff. You don't got to go home, but you can't stay here anymore. That is death. That is life. That is death. We have a time that's been appointed, and the Bible says that every man has been appointed one death. Everybody's going to die. The thing about life is nobody gets out alive. So you're here. I want you to really think about this. You are here for a short time. You will not live forever. Your release date is coming. But unlike in an incarcerated situation, they give you an actual day. They'll say this is the actual day you're going to get out. They'll give you a paper that tells you you got 5 years. So at the end of 5 years on this day, you're going to be released. You don't have that luxury with God. And when that release date happens, okay, you're going to go into another life, the next life, right? That means now I had to transition from being in an incarcerated situation. Now I have to learn how to live in a society that's completely strange for me. I can go back and remember going to Walmart and feeling like I was going to have a complete panic attack because there was so many people. And learning about how to drive again and learning about how to fill it out. I had to learn everything. Dealing with people, all this stuff was just foreign to me. Even my body had to get used to eating food that was different from the food that I was eating there. Everything was different. And when you go to the next life, you're going to suffer the same thing. So what we need to be doing while I was when I was incarcerated the whole time, you know what I did? I spent time making myself better. I went to cognitive intervention. I went to classes to teach me to think about life and to think ahead and to stop thinking in the moment and stop thinking in the moment and how to be respectful. I got my education. I got my college degree. I learned about heating and air conditioning. I kept, only thing I could think was I'm preparing myself. That's how I became look, a lot of people don't understand why I'm an artist right now, because you know what? That is what I did for that time that I was there. I would draw and people would pay me for it. So I came out here, when I was there, I kept doing it every day. And I said, I'm going to get good at this. I'm going to get so good that people can't tell me no. When they see my skill level, they're going to say, you know what, I was trying to put myself in position for the next life. I wasn't thinking about the 5 years. I was thinking about I'm going to get released and I'm going into another life. How am I going to take care of myself in this other life if I don't start preparing now? And this is what God's saying to us. It's saying that you're going to have a next life in God's kingdom. Now, let me tell you something. There was a place in incarceration called administrative segregation. This was the hell. It was part of the building. It was part of the unit, but it was the worst place because all the way in the back. Now, I cut hair back there. I used to cut hair there. And it was the worst part of this prison that you could be in. It was where you were locked in this place 23 hours a day, sometimes 24 hours. You were given 15 minutes to go out, take a shower, maybe if you had rec. They had no paper, no pencil, no nothing. This was the last stage. This was the hell, right, of this particular part. It was a place you didn't want to be at. That's why there wasn't that many. It was not that many people stayed in line because they didn't want to go to this place right here. It was just that horrible. I had men sit in my chair that smelled like, they smelled like there was no tomorrow, and they had to cut their hair, and they had all kinds of stuff in their hair and all this, and I had to stand back and put a mask on my face and everything and all kinds of stuff because they were completely in the back of the seg place. It was horrible. Okay. This is all God's kingdom. Everything was created. And you don't want to wind up in that part. Because what determined how they did that, how they got back there, is what they did prior to that. So in one life they did one thing, and that's what they did with that life. And then they had to stand in front of somebody and they said, well, this is what why did you did this with your life? We gave you the chance to do it right. We gave you the opportunity to do it right. You decided that you wanted to do it this way, even though you knew right from wrong. So therefore, we're going to send you all the way to the last part of SEG. And they're like, no, I don't want to go back there. Please don't send me. No, they go kicking and screaming. But that's where you going. And there's nothing you can do about it. Once they throw you in there, you can bang on the door. You can scream to the top of your lungs. Nobody cares. That's just where you're going to find yourself at. But it says again, Jesus says we should aim to focus on our true home in our next life in God's kingdom. The things that cause us anxiety are often things that are passing away. But Jesus wants us to focus on things that will last. So the things that cause us anxiety, listen to this, are things that are passing away. What's that mean? That they are also on their way to the grave. We're letting a person, a mortal human being, where this person may not be in your life, is not going to be in your life. Nothing in this life is certain. The only thing that's certain is what God has for you. And I have to know that. Sometimes we can live for our career, but our career is passing away. We've been anxious our whole life over our career, a career that we're eventually going to lose anyway. Let me put it to you in different terms. No matter how much I learn how to draw, it doesn't matter. I got to give it all back. This is why we must take what we've been blessed with and use it for the purpose that God told us to use it for. That's the only reason that we have gifts, talents, is because God gave it to us for his purpose, not for yours. His purpose is eternal. It says, are you anxious over temporary things? What is disrupting your peace today? Am I anxious over temporary things? Yes, sometimes I am. I'm anxious about being a father at this age. I'm anxious about being able to provide at times. I'm anxious about all kinds of stuff, man, because I'm just a human being. We're just humans. Nobody can tell you they're scared of nothing because they're lying. Rich people are afraid of being broke people, right? Everybody got a fear. Everybody has anxieties. No matter what you see on TikTok, them showing you all their best days. Everybody has anxieties and worries. And this is why the word of God exists, to encourage us not to worry, not to fret, because God has a purpose, and that no matter what you've done in this life, when you accept, because you can accept Christ today. Today, the good news is that you can accept Jesus Christ today and say, you know what? I accept Jesus Christ. I believe not part of the Bible, not half of the Bible, not a third of the Bible, but I believe every word in here is expired written word of God. This is the type of obedience. See, you ain't going to see nothing come from this. You ain't going to get nothing from it unless you believe all of it. And you got to walk around every day believing it. So when the enemy comes to you with a lie, you say, wait a minute, that doesn't line up with the word of God. What are these people going to think about me? Wait a minute. God says, don't put all of my trust in man, because putting all your trust in man is a fool. Like the only reason that his purpose is the purpose that I'm here for. That's what this word says. So, worrying about what people think about me and what to wear and what to do this and where am I going. I'm not supposed to be worried about this, because then I can't function. Because when you're scared, you still ain't going to do it anyway. So what is disrupting your peace today? Ask yourself these questions. What is disrupting your peace today? Where do you feel like God, where do you feel, like God has forgotten about you? Where do you feel in your life that God has forgotten about you? Maybe you're having a problem in your marriage or a problem in your school work, or, there's a list of problems that we could have. Do we feel like God has forgotten about us? Is that what you're thinking? Does that line up with the word of God? Does that line up with what it says here in the scripture? It says to talk to God about it. That means we must pray. He can be trusted, so he's not going to tell everybody your business. That's one place you can go to and you can air your dirty laundry, and he is not shocked. Believe it or not, there's nothing that you can go to God with that he can say, you can say he's never heard of it before. And his trustworthiness is the only thing that can truly set your heart at peace, knowing that you have a God that loves you, that hears your your problem. He hears your questions because you're his child, and that he wants to help you, and he wants you to know his word so that you can know when your thought is contrary to that's not the right way to be thinking. In that he understands and he knows, and he's encouraging us that this is where our joy in life will come from. I'm going to close out with that. I'm going to tell you guys, I always say this, that joy and happiness are not the same thing. Happiness is you got a new puppy. Joy is, I don't care whether I have a new puppy, if it's raining outside, if this is going that way or that's going that way, I still know that I'm here for a purpose. And I got to keep striving toward that purpose, even though it's a little bit difficult at times. But tough times don't last too long. I'm going to go the way that I'm supposed to go, regardless of what I feel about the situation today. That's joy. Joy is that a contentment. If I had to put it in simpler terms, joy is a seesaw. And if you put a seesaw, if you have just the right amount of weight on both sides of the seesaw, the saw won't go one way or the other. It'll stay in the middle. And that's what God wants you to be. Sometimes you're going to do something you ain't got no business. But you got to you're going to think something you ain't got no business thinking. But sometimes you got to come back and you got to put a little bit more on the other side to balance that out. You got to put some of that word back in you so that the word can balance that thought life out. And then you can be joy. You can be content. It's a state of contentment that's going to open up the world to you, because then you'll be able to see things objectively and not from a standpoint of desire. You can see things for what they really are, is what I'm saying. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead, guys, and get out of here. I want to thank you guys for coming out to the stream today. If you did tip through the Cash App or through the live stream, thank you so much. Hey, buddy. What's going on? Hey, this is my son right here. You want to say hello to him? Hey, buddy. You want to say hi? Yes. Huh? How you feeling this morning? Huh? You feeling okay? Yeah?
Gotta do this one.
Okay. All right. So, guys, y'all have a blessed and awesome day. I'll be praying for you and your families. Yeah. You guys be safe out there, and God bless you. I'll see you guys later. Say bye, Ethan.
Bye.
Yeah. All right. See you guys later. Okay, hold on. Let's turn off the...